Hi, I'm Fan Hon. Today I'm going to talk about the problem 1 for the group project, and the question is taken from Math 101 assignment. First of all, the question is about to find the absolute maxima and the absolute minima of the following function with different indicated interval. And the traditional solution for part A and part B is the following. First, we need to find the derivatives of the function, and then we let it to equal 0 and find the critical value of x, and then we need to substitute all the critical value of x and the interval into function, and finally we need to compare the value of function x in order to get the maxima and minima of function x. And while part B is just the same, but the interval is changed, therefore we need to reject one answer, and the maxima and the minima of the function is also changed. However, the traditional solution is quite clumsy, therefore we can use the CAS technology to help us to solve the problem. The fastest method is to use the CAS graphing. First of all, we need to click the menu button on the CAS calculator and click Add Graph, and then we need to type in the function, and as you can see, the function will show graphically, and then we need to set the window into different interval. For part A, we need to set it to the x minimum is 1 and x maximum is 4, while part B is 4 and 9. And then for part A, we need to right click our mouse on the graph and click Analyze Graph for maximum and minimum, and set the upper bound for 4 and lower bound for 1, and the solution, which is the maxima and the minimum, will show automatically on the graph, so that we can get the answer very easily. And for part B, we just need to do almost the same procedure as if part A, while the upper bound and lower bound is changed, and then we can get the answer very easily and show from the graph. And the answer is almost the same with the solution of the traditional method. However, it is almost the same but not exactly the same. So is there any faster and more accurate method? Therefore, I'm going to introduce the faster method, which is CAS calculator. First, we need to type in the function and click enter, and then we need to click the menu button on the calculator and click calculus and function maximum and minimum, and then we can get the answer very quickly. In short, with the help of CAS technology, how much time is saved, and the traditional solution is around 8 minutes, CAS graphing is around 4 minutes, so the speed factor is 2 times faster, and the CAS calculator is just very quick, and 1 minute is done, and the speed factor is around 8 times faster, and that's the end. Thank you.
I am Chen Kahing. My project topic is ordinary differential equations. This time, I will use TI-inspire CX-COT, the solve function, to solve equations of first-order ODS and second-order ODS. In the following time, I will share 2 questions and solve them by hand and calculator respectively. First of all, you can see Q1. We need to find out the general solution for this first-order differential equation. You can see it is complicated that there are so many calculation steps and formulas. Especially, Q1 involves exponential function and integration by parts, which will consume much time in the calculation. Finally, this question has taken 20 minutes. For Q2, it also includes quadratic equation, while it has taken 10 minutes in hand calculation. How about we use calculator instead? There is only one step. Type the equation on the calculator and press enter. It is done. This even takes 1 to 2 minutes. for single question. For both Q1 and Q2, it totally takes 3 minutes at all. However, hand calculation for both questions has taken 30 minutes. The speed up factor of calculator for Q1 and Q2 is 10. That means calculator has 10 times faster than traditional calculation. With this high efficiency of engineering mathematics calculation, we could solve more problems shortly in our daily life or the working environment in order to enhance the average productivity.
Hello, I'm Zhen King from Good 27. Today I'm going to talk about problem type 1, and the problem is about absolute maximum and absolute minimum value of the function. This problem with the traditional way, I need to find the f prime of x first, and the step I showed in PowerPoint, the f of x is this, and the f prime of x I use find it by product rule. The next step, I need to let the f prime of x to equal to 0 so that I can find the root of this equation. I find two roots totally, and then I need to draw a table so that this table can help me to figure out how the curve look like and help me to record the status of f prime of x. To know whether the y value of the different range of f prime of x is decreasing or increasing, I need to let the x equal to specific value. For example, I let x to equal to 1, which is smaller than 1 root, and the result of this is smaller than 0, so I know this is decreasing in this range, and I repeat this step twice so that I can fill all the boxes. Therefore, I can know one of these roots is minima and the other one is the turning point. And the last step, I need to find out the upper bound and check a lower bound value so I can compare them their y value of the root. And finally, I can find the absolute maximum and the absolute minimum value. But with the CS technology, it would be more easier to find the maximum and minimum value. I learned this skill from finding the maximum value of DNF vector. The first step, I need to add a graph and enter the function, the f of x. And then I need to click the menu and find the analyze graph choice and click either minimum or maximum. And the last step is quite easy, I just need to highlight the range. And for example, I can see the question A, the interval is 1 to 4. And I just need to highlight the range from x equal to 1 and to x equal to 4 for question A. And the graph shows the minimum point, which x value is 2.75 and the y value is minus 4.54. And I need the y value, so the answer is minus 4.54. That's quite easy. And the question have totally 6 questions, and I just need to repeat this step 6 times and I can find all the answer. In conclusion, both two ways can find the same and true answer. But the traditional way spend me more time. It totally spend me about 35 minutes. However, the CAS way just only cost me about 7 minutes, and I don't need to handle the data myself because the calculator will help me to handle those data. And the speed factor is about 5. So this is the end of my sharing. Thank you.
So hello everyone, I'm Lila Lam. Today I'm going to present CIVL 1160 project type 1 using CAS to make calculation easier. So the question is selected from one of my major course CENG 3210 separation process to solve the Rachel-Ford Rice procedure for isothermal fresh distillation so as to calculate the concentration or amount of components in the mixture. So as you can see, the main function we will use is this G function, which exact value is the overall mole fraction of component I, K value is partition coefficient, and these two values are given in the question. and the F value is the mole fraction of vapor, which is the variable in this case. So first step, we will check the mixture phase by finding G0 and G1. Since only 4 components, calculation by hand is still acceptable. So I'll just directly calculate by putting in the number and assume F is 0 or 1. Or we can use Excel to do so by inputting the G function for each component and change the F value to 0 to get the same answer as hand calculated and also F1. So for step 2, we have to solve the GF equal to 0. So find out the answer. So traditional method is the Newton's method. Provide an initial guess of F for the independent variable and calculate the corresponding function value GF and the derivative of the function at this initial guess G prime F, and next guess is calculated as this equation. And this process is iteratively repeated until the accuracy is very low. So the derivative of GF with respect to F is provided by the question, so we don't have to derive by ourselves. So I will use 0.5 as the initial guess. So change the value to 0.5, and I really input the sum of G function, sum of G prime function to get the new F value at the accuracy. So this process will be repeated again and the same equation until the accuracy is very, the value of accuracy is very small, and to get the final result. So we will try to use CAS. So if we use CAS to do the calculation, the process will be much simple. So first we open a spreadsheet to input the K value of 4 components and the Z value for 4 components. And second, for the first step, we input the sum of G function and store it in GF. So we just simply type in the value like G1. So it will give the G1 value and G0 to give the G0 value. So it is very simple. And for step 2, we have to figure out the F value when the equation equals to 1 or equals to 0. So we just use the solve function and input the G function in it, and it equal to 0 and to find out F. So it will give 3 values. And because the F value was not smaller than 0 and was not larger than 1, so we actually get the answer is 0.089392, and it is exactly the same as the Excel. So now we will do the discussion. Basically, the same answer could be conducted by traditional method and CAS, but with CAS calculator, less time is required to get the same answer. So although it seems like not much time is required when using Excel, but there are 3 reasons. First, I already input the G function, G prime function before presentation, so it will save a lot of time. And also, the derivative is provided by the question by the professor. Otherwise, the calculation process would be much more difficult, even if with the use of Excel. But with the use of CAS, the derivative is not required. And the last reason is, in this case, there are only 4 components in the mixture. So if in a practical question, the number of components will be more complex, like maybe it includes 10 or even more components. So the calculation by hand would be much more complicated.